Welcome back to Ryobi UK. Today we're going to be unboxing the Ryobi caulking gun with a strange model number, the CCG-1801MHG. So there you go. So this is the Ryobi 18-volt caulking gun that works with a 1 Plus battery system. Right, I've already cut the box. Let's get it out the box. I'm going to bring the box close so you can have a good look at the box. I quite like the idea of this because when you're siliconing and you use a normal silicone gun and you run out of the pressure and you have to sort of reload the pressure again, the trigger, and you have to start again. Although what I will say is now you get some really good siliconing tools, you don't really need a perfect bead anyway, but this was, shall I say, a bit of an extravagance on my behalf. But there you go. Let's have a look at the details. Right, it looks like it takes a 310 milliliter silicone tube. It says on a 5 amp hour battery you get 300 plus tubes. Wow, sounds a lot, but there you go. That's what it says. Probably never going to get to try that out. I'm not going to be using 300 plus tubes, and I'm not going to buy 300 just to try it out. Right, there you go. It says it's 18 volt, and obviously that works with the 1 Plus system. It's a caulking gun, and here I believe that's telling us it can do 2,200 Newton tons of pressure. I'm not sure exactly means, but that's basically how much pressure I believe it can exert to squeeze the tube, and that's 225 kilograms. And here, this little symbol here tells us that it's multi-speed. I've used this once now, and the multi-speed comes in handy, depending on what you're using and how much pressure it needs to push it out and how fast you want the flow. I think one of the places where would be good to use is I once used an automotive adhesive to stick a stainless steel panel on the inside of a bonnet of a car to take it to shows and what have you. And the adhesive was so hard to squeeze out of the tube. Now, that's where something like this will really come into its own. Right, here's the unit itself. It's the CCG 1801. Obviously, it's quite straightforward. You place your tube in here, and you've got your plunger. It has no reverse. I'm just hoping the motor has a clutch that disengages the motor and allows you to pull it backwards. Doesn't feel like it, but maybe it does. In the booklet, it doesn't say anything about reverse. So manually pull it back, the plunger, and then you've obviously got the trigger to push the plunger forward. You have variable speeds here. So you've got a slow speed, which is very slow, and you've got maximum speed, which is okay, and then you've got speeds in between. So there's your speed lever here. You've got a lock for the switch here so that you can't activate the switch and unlock. Here's a close-up of the unit. Here's the variable speeds. As you can see, you've got really what should be a plus and a minus, but just shows a sliding scale. There's your trigger. There's your lock. You've got a lock to lock the trigger. This is where the tube goes in, obviously. There's the plunger, which, like I said, is manually retractable. And I have worked out now that it has got a clutch because, as you can tell, I've already used this now. And when you release the trigger, you can feel that the plunger backs off slightly. The pressure backs off to stop your silicone keep coming out. Once you run a bead and you let go of your switch, the plunger will back off slightly. So some sort of a clutch system, which is great because it stops the silicone continuing to come out. But on the other hand, when you go to squeeze your trigger, you've got quite a wait before the silicone starts to come out again, which caused me a few problems for a while until I got used to it. You can feel when that actually reaches the end of the silicone and it's ready to come out again. Something I will try next time is I will manually push this forward slightly before I then press the trigger, but that's a long story and I'll show you when I'm using it. Also here you've got a pin to pierce the silicone or the caulking tube or the adhesive, whatever you're using. So there you go, there's a close-up of it. Obviously it's dirty now because I've used it once. That's a close-up of what you get. Also you get a lanyard attached to it. Not something I'll ever use, but it comes with it. So I'm going to quickly just show you up close working and show you the variable speeds. Here's your plunger, which like I said is manually retractable. And then you just squeeze your trigger, you choose your speed. Obviously the biggest wedge is the fastest speed, the thin wedge is the slowest, and it's just a case of squeezing. And let's see what happens to the plunger when I let go of the trigger. And it doesn't retract, but what I've noticed is when I'm using the silicone, the pressure does back off considerably. And by the time I press the trigger, next time it takes quite a while for the silicone to start flowing again. There you go, I'll show you the switches up close. Obviously it's the trigger covered in silicone, and there's a lock. There you go, that's it up close. But there you go, there's a unit. That's the CCG 1801. Variable speeds, like I said, a trigger lock, and looks like a manual pullback on the plunger. Here is the CCG 1801. I've got a 2 amp hour battery in it. I've used the workshop blower and I'm using my light, my Ryobi light as well, just to lighten the place up because it's in the evening. Right, this is a job that I did years ago in my old house where I tiled it. You can see in this light it ain't brilliantly tiled, but I tiled it and the bead has gone round the bath. Now bear in mind, in a few months this is all being ripped out and we're going to have a new bathroom, but I've just done a shower cubicle where I use this, so I thought why not do a bead here. Couldn't film in the shower cubicle because it was so small, it's quite tight, and there wasn't much opportunity to film. So what I'm going to do, I've got a problem around here getting the silicone gun around the back there, so that's going to be hit and miss because I've already tried it and I can only get the gun from one angle and then the other, so I won't probably film that. I'll just film me running a bead around the 2 sides, and probably I won't film me using these silicone tools to finish it off because, like I always say, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not an expert, I'm just giving it a go. You can see right, I've got it in wide angle. I'm just going to show you me running the bead and a couple of problems and the good things that I've come up with. Right, in the corner here, I've got quite a big gap, and in this corner there's quite a big gap, and along here. What I've done is I've run some silicone already in the gaps, just so that the silicone doesn't drop too far. I haven't this end because it's not quite as wide, but it's very wide there. Right, what I'm going to do is showing you me running a bead from here all the way along, all the way along here, hopefully, if nothing goes wrong. And I probably won't show this bit because this is going to, like I just said just now, I'm going to have to come in from that side and this side because I cannot get behind here with the silicone gun. Right, so here we go. I'll load the silicone gun, which is quite straightforward. Pull the plunger back. If the plunger's forward, pull the plunger all the way back. Don't try and load it that way because it won't fit. Push the tube in that way and then back in forwards that way. Push it right to the front and manually push this forwards. Like I said earlier, once you stop with this, you find the pressure from the tube backs this right off, and when you start the gun again, you find you are waiting quite a while for the silicone, so you've got to keep your eye on when the silicone starts to flow before you start to move. And sometimes you do get a lot of twisting going on,
especially when the tube is coming near the end. Right, I've got it in. I've got it on the fast setting. I'll just turn it down a little bit. But I've got it on quite a fast setting because I'm going to move quite fast along here. I'll try and keep out your way so you can watch. Right, wait till it starts to flow. There you go. Right, once again, I'm not an expert. You can see it's not perfect, but obviously I'm going to be smoothing this down with a silicone tool. There's no joins, whereas on a manual one, sometimes you run out of the pressure and you have to repump again and you get splodges. There went a bit haywire because it's a big hole there. But apart from that, and it went a bit thicker there. But I was successful laying down a bead. Right, now I'm going to use the tool. I'm going to use quite a big angle because I do have quite a wide expanse there. Right, I'll crack on with that and then I'll start recording afterwards because it's going to take me a while to work this. Right, there you go, there's a quick look at the finished bead. Very difficult to get around there, very difficult, that was dreadful. It's not brilliant, I'll be the first to say. I had to play with it a lot more than I wanted to. Clean it up with one of these tools. But the application is made so much easier with the Ryobi caulking and silicone gun. It is made so much easier to apply a nice bead all the way around. There you go. The big problem I had was because I've tiled this myself, was the big grout lines. The tool would go in and out the grout lines, so I was ending up with little divots on every tile, so I was having to try and find a way around that. I do believe there is a tool on Amazon that helps. Just went on Amazon and this is the tool I needed to help bridge across the grout lines. Or maybe I might re-grout them so they're a lot thicker and a lot more bolder. So when I silicone, I'm not going in and out the grout holes.
Okay, right, here we are at the sink. Once again, hopefully this is all being ripped out soon, but just do a quick repair, show you how the cannulated bead down. I've scraped it with this quickly, scraped it round. Going to be using one of these tools for the silicone. Obviously going to use my blower to blow all the bits away, and then going to use the caulking gun. Right, let's move it out of the way. Right, we're using the R18 VI. Once that cleared, a little bit. Once again, let's load the gun. A little bit different to the other one. You normally load it that way, and this one you need to load in that way. Make sure this is fully pulled out and you load in that way, because if you try to load this way, it won't fit. Load in that way. Push the plunger up to get to a tight place to start getting some out. Let's have our speed, quite fast speed, and let's go. Let's lay a bead down. Lanyard got caught on the tap. So the lanyard got caught on the tap and ruined my bead.
Ryobi UK, tip of the day.
Well, there you go. That wasn't as successful as the bath, as you could see. I think because the angles, this is in a really small area and the camera's in this way, and I was trying to get the view. But there you go. That's the bead laid down. Now I'm just going to select the tool I'm going to use, put the guard on it for the grout, and I'm just going to run myself a bead all the way along. That's not half bad. I'll do the corner in a minute. Getting there.
So there you go. There's a quick look at the Ryobi caulking gun / silicone gun, model number CCG 1801, with its variable speeds and its lock-in trigger. There you go. Thanks for tuning in to Ryobi UK, and I'll see you in the next video.